Hey guys, welcome to the 12th episode of our special edition Mindshift video series. I'm Dimitri Wakuf, and the purpose of Mindshift is to help you create atomic shifts in your mind so that you can turn your life into a joyful adventure filled with prosperity, love, and fulfillment. Today, we're gonna talk about mindfulness and emotional balance. So I'm giving the word to my wonderful co-host Laura to introduce our great expert in mindfulness and emotional balance, and of course, to introduce the subtopic for this week.
Great, thank you, Dimi. And hello, everyone. And today it's my pleasure to introduce Carmen Manea, who is our guest on this wonderful topic. And I can confirm that once Carmen came on the show, everyone got much more grounded. She brought this beautiful, calming energy. And so thanks for that. This morning is a great thing. And just a few things that I want to share about our guest today. So Carmen, she's a positive intelligence leadership coach. She's also a trainer in self-compassion, mindfulness, and emotional balance, which is exactly the topic for this month. So it's a big pleasure to welcome you to the show, Carmen. And just to start our discussion, I would like to mention that we will be playing this game where we will be using a timer. So basically, once I introduce the first topic, I will give you 3 minutes. And once you have 15 seconds left, I will show you a hand, which means, okay, it's time to start wrapping up. Is that okay for everyone?
Yep.
Okay. So first of all, I think to start discussing this wonderful topic, it's just important to go down to basics, you know? So I would like to ask you, Carmen, what is mindfulness and emotional balance? So I'm starting the timer now. And yeah, tell me.
Hello, Laura and Dimi, and thank you for having me here. And everyone, hello, and hopefully good to hear you back at some point. Well, mindfulness and emotional balance, they're a little bit different. They have some commonalities, but also different. Mindfulness was defined by John Kabat-Zinn as the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment in a non-judgmental way. And why paying attention on purpose? Because many times we pay attention, but not on purpose, right? We get caught by different things. So probably you are listening to this podcast and you think about something else. Well, the invitation is to come back on purpose to listen to the podcast. And in the present moment, it's what's happening right here, right now. And the last part, non-judgmental ways, right? When we notice, for example, that our mind is wandering, we are kind of beating ourselves up maybe sometimes. Oh, why I can't focus? Why it's only me not being able to pay attention, and so on and so forth. And then we get even more distracted. So non-judgmental is like, oh, okay, I got distracted, or I did something that I didn't want to. I come back and in a kind way without beating ourselves up. If we go to emotional balance, here it's a totally different story. And if we think about balance like being something totally still and perfect, that's not the case. Emotional balance is actually how we can navigate the waves, and right is not straight, but how we can left to right, up, down, how we can navigate that. And the emotional balance has actually 3 different components. And the first one is the attentional balance. What I've just said also with the mindfulness is the ability to really focus and to maintain the interest on a certain idea or task without giving up for distractions. And we have the cognitive balance, and this is the perception, the knowing. It's the ground for our attitudes, for our preferences, for our beliefs. So it's very important to remember that we need to have also the cognitive balance. And the last one is called conative balance. And that is the purpose, the desire, the intention. So when you start a day, a task, what's your intention for that day? What's your purpose for your life? What's your purpose for what you are going to do? And I see, Laura, we have only probably 10 seconds by now. So the invitation is to really remember that emotional balance and mindfulness is not perfection, but is navigating the sea that is called life.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And actually, what you're saying, it like calms me down so much, because I think what you said about emotional balance, it's very typical how we think, okay, it has to be all like neutral balance. But actually, in the end of the day, and that's going to be part of my 2 minutes now, in the end of the day, I completely share and I agree. And I'm happy you actually said it from an expert perspective, that it's not about not having the waves, but it's about knowing how to navigate, right? So when the wave goes up, then knowing what to do and where to fall back to actually relax the wave and get back into the flow, So that's a part of what I think. Otherwise, for me, I really love the concept of mindfulness, because I think we can live or we can live mindfully. We can sing or we can sing mindfully. We can talk or we can talk mindfully. And I just think once we add this mindfully or mindful relationship, mindful job, it completely changes the concept. Because for me, being mindful is being conscious, is having the ability in any kind of situation, in any moment, is having the ability to kind of like mentally or spiritually just go out of your body a little bit and observe from outside what is going on, and be able to respond rather than react, and to connect this with emotional balance is also this, you know um, this ability to, I don't want to use the word be in control of your emotions, but sort of embrace your emotions and be friend with your emotions, rather than let the emotions, boss you around. That was just me trying to avoid the word control. And yeah, this is something that I think is the ultimate goal for me personally. Like, this is a journey I'm on to learn this emotional balance, because as a person, I think, very emotionally waved, So yeah, that's just a few things from me, and it's exactly 2 minutes now. And now I'll give the timer to you, Dimi. You have 2 minutes,
Okay.
and just, yeah, let us know, what do you think?
I feel calmer definitely now when we're in this creating this environment between each other. And I was thinking, what I mean, really, I want to share. And the first thing is, I want to start with emotional balance. Emotional balance for me um, is actually the ability to relate to our emotions in a way that we receive the message and let them go. So that's the way I see it, because for me, emotions are messengers, and not only for me. We know that also in science, and people talk about it. Emotions are messengers we are receiving. If something is good or bad, if something is pleasurable or painful, all of this, we receive it throughout these emotions, that we need to take some action, or at least receive the message. And I think our ability to do that creates emotional balance in our life. And here comes mindfulness, which actually, I think, in my words, is a tool which helps us to create this environment for us, so that we can relate to our emotions in this way. Because for me, mindfulness is exactly staying with it, seeing the things, observing them, but not reacting and not be attached to them. So this creates this freedom for us, so that we are really seeing it, and then learn what we need to take out of it, and just let them go. So this is actually and actually, yeah, paying to whatever it is around us or inside us without attaching to it. So that helps us to create emotional balance and be happier. So yeah, that's, I think, my way of seeing it. So let's go then to the next one. And actually, the next subtopic is, why is mindfulness an important topic to discuss these days, Carmen?
Well, Dimi, it's a very pertinent question because we heard the word mindfulness many times said these days, and it started to become also kind of a buzzword. Both of you already said a few reasons for which mindfulness is important. And to get even more in details, imagine that nowadays we have distractions every second. Could be even more distractions in the same time. And it is very difficult to be present and to be here with whatever we are doing. So we get bombarded by so many distractions. Then we get also information overload, right? We have access to so much, so many books, so many articles, so many podcasts, so many everything, you name it. And it is so difficult to be able to stay on one thing. And it is also overwhelming because we want to know it all. And you start to click on something and you end up with 20 tabs opened and you find yourself, oh my God, where I am and when I'm going to finish this. So it's really, really a lot going on. But also we are always on, right? We have the mobiles, we have everything. We work across different time zones. We are always on. We always have to interact, and that again, it's putting a lot of pressure on nervous system. And coming to the pressure, right? There is a lot of pressure from outside, and it's a lot of pressure for inside. I need to be the best. I need to be excellent. I need to be great. I need to be this. I need to be that. How many do we? Well, how many of us do we feel this? I work with many leaders, and pressure is a topic that keeps on coming back and back and back. And mindfulness, it's important even to have the awareness of what is happening, to understand that a lot of how many people are actually ending up stressed or burnt out. It's about really paying attention and be aware what's happening. How do I feel right now physically? How do I feel mentally? What's the narrative I tell myself? How can I actually be here with that presentation that I have to do instead of answering 5 other phone calls in the same time? And so on and so forth. So mindfulness, mindfulness is also called somehow heartfulness, right? So it is that ability, again, to go through the waves and to choose, instead of focusing on 5 different things in the same time, to choose in this moment and to be with this moment, and afterwards to move to the next one and to the next one. And that also calms the neural system, because there is a lot of overexcitement happening nonstop there. So I think, yeah, that's just a very few words about why it is important. I could talk about it for a few days.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's a very, very broad topic, and it can really impact so many parts and roles in our life. So I'm ready for my time. I guess I have it already.
Go for it. That's it.
Okay.
All yours.
Okay. So first of all, I want to just emphasize what you shared about the overload of information, and I think that's definitely one of the reasons why mindfulness is super important nowadays. Because you're right. I mean, we have books, we have so many courses, so many expectations also on us, whatever what we want to do, and we are really confused, I think, at some point, and overwhelmed by that. So we really want to sort things out, I would say. And the way to sort things out is, first of all, to really be aware of what is there before you do the next step. So in my opinion, that's super important, because as we already said, mindfulness is a tool for me which can really help us to really be aware of what is happening there, and then put it in places so that we can really go with more confidence, even I say, with whatever we do, and with more clarity. And then the other thing is, which actually is my main point, is that nowadays many people are aware of the importance of emotional balance, to combine the two topics. And because of that, they more and more understand why mindfulness can help them to actually create this balance. And because before we are aware of that it's important, no one why we're going to do, why we're going to stay 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, or even 5 minutes with ourselves and our thoughts if there is no reason for that. And when we understand fully that emotional balance can lead us to so many great things, and then use also mindfulness for creating that for us, that will create a lot of waves for, and that will help us to really be even more motivated to do whatever we do in life. So that's my point.
Great. And I think, it's really just to continue, I think it's one of those questions that I don't have much more to add. I think it's so obvious, and like you both covered so well, really, why it is so important. So I really share your point, Carmen, that today it's too much of everything, and too many opportunities as well. Like, can you imagine the responsibility of choosing one direction when we live in the times where, seriously, like, I think if if you are mentally like strong, is really nothing is impossible, like almost just like this. So, and I think it puts a lot of weight on us personally, and so that's also part of a reason why it is important, to practice and mindfulness, and to strive for it. For me, I think it's also something that I think is the ultimate key to happiness. So I think it's not anymore, what we have, right? Not the car we drive, not the house we have, because I think it's now there is a tendency that people more and more realize that, okay, now I have that job I thought will make me happy, and I'm still not. So I think in the end, like, we fall back on this, that, okay, we have to be our best friends. We have to be mindful of a job we have and the way we feel, and that will help to actually be happy in the end of the day, almost regardless of what's happening around us. I say almost because, okay, there are some situations where whatever mindfulness level you have, you will still feel upset, for example. So I think this is just wrapping up, right? These are all the reasons what you said and what I added for why it is extremely important and becoming more and more important with the world developing, to be actually mindful. So, do you have anything to add, or?
Yeah, I would like to add something. It just reminded me of that saying that life happens when we are too busy making plans. And this is what is happening, right? When we live nowadays, that we are so in a rush with everything that we don't really enjoy what is happening. Oh, I achieved this, okay, next. Or, oh, I have this pressure, okay, what's next? So we are constantly planning and moving forward, but we don't have the time to enjoy this cup of tea, right? So it's like, oh, it's so warm and so nice. Yeah, it's important to remember just to enjoy some moments of our lives.
Yeah, and I just want to add something, that what I started doing with my clients and with myself as well. When I get something, for example, something great happens, or I achieve something, or they achieve something, I just started using this 7 seconds like audio, which is very, very vibrant, very good. And just as you said, these moments on when we do something, achieve something, or just are grateful for something, whatever, we just use the even 7 seconds, even 10 seconds to enjoy it and being with it. That creates so much, um, change in the way you see the world and yourself and other people and everything. It's so cool when I do it, and when you do it several times a day, because you always, even small things which are happening during the day, so small great things, you can just emphasize on them in this way. So you actually get some kind of reward for whatever you do. And definitely, even these 7 seconds can change my day, because I show to myself, or my clients show to them, that, yeah, I just want to stay with that for a while, not just go to the next one, not just to check the box or something like this. So yeah, I just want to elaborate on that.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting, Dimi? I think like it makes me think that it's also so personal, like the way we are mindful, the way we celebrate things. Like for you, for example, okay, 7 seconds, like a very powerful audio. I can imagine like maybe a song or like something, like we are the champions or something like this. But like for me, I'm just thinking, when something big happens, actually you would be surprised because I look like I'm very extroverted, but I have noticed when something big happens, when I'm really, really, truly happy, I just have this like quiet moment, like a little girl smiling within me. It's exactly the opposite. Like there is no fireworks, there is no like loud music, but it's like, like this. Oh God, it's good. Like I made it. So, and it's completely quiet moment for me. So I think
Mm,
what I want to say by this, I think is so personal, and I think it's so important that each of us don't follow what others do. If someone puts a loud music, oh, so that means it's for my way to celebrate as well. But it's kind of try to observe what comes naturally and cherish it, and try to do it more often, like you said, Dimi, to use it as a way to
mm,
mark a little achievement. Or it could be, I don't know, put something on the wall and put like little medals for yourself or whatever.
wherever it
The
is. Yeah.
point is, yeah, to find your own thing that feels right. I think it's really, that's what mindfulness is, right? What do you think, Carmen?
Yeah, I love it, Laura. It's listening to yourself.
Mm.
That's what it is. Be present with yourself and respect that.
Beautiful. Okay, I love the way she is. She's like when you speak, it's like, I don't know, I'm listening to a meditation. It's really like you have this very, yeah, very calming voice, exactly the opposite of me. So I'm really liking this, what you can give. Okay, voila. So I think we are continuing probably to the third part of our
Mm,
discussion today. So, well, now I think again we have probably covered part of it, but just to structure and to think practically for the people listening as well. So, for very practical people, right? What are the benefits of emotional balance?
Yeah, well, we already indeed covered several of them. Let's think if we are to, for example, if we have any leaders listening, imagine that you have to take some very tough decisions. If
mm,
you're out of balance, it's very difficult. You can't really focus on it. You cannot be at peace with it. It's very challenging. While when you get yourself in balance, when your emotions are there and you know what it is, but you don't, as Laura said, you don't let them boss you around and you don't let them make the decisions for you. Things are changes. And also it's helping to adapt actually to change, because change is part of our life and we constantly have a lot of changes. And with being in emotional balance is okay. Notice that it's beautiful. I usually do a drawing where when you are mindful and practice emotional balance, it's not that you are flat as you're, but could be you can go up because you are open and you really feel it, and then you quickly recover. So that's the thing with emotional balance and mindfulness is quick recovery. So imagine you are in a job where you got a really um, tough message, and the impact is very strong. But then you have to communicate to your people, to your team, and how do you quickly recover from that to be able to connect with your team and to be able to make the best decisions. If we are to take the case of COVID that we had for quite a while now, imagine all these presidents and state and governments and so on, how much they had to kind of find their own inner balance to be able to make some decisions on things that they never knew how they are going to be. So it is not an easy thing. And also really it's helping to reduce stress, because again, when we don't identify, as Dimi was saying, with our emotions, it's like I experience this, but this is not going to last forever. This is not what is defining me. This is a certain moment in time, And when I am witnessing it, and instead of reacting, I just allow myself to feel it, I can also become calmer and I become more self-compassionate. I become more kind to myself and also towards others. Because more we are in balance ourselves, more we can support the others and more patient we are. And we can interact, so our relationships as well can become much better when we are in balance than when everything is all over. And Laura, I know I'm over time. I just want to add one more thing connected to emotions here, because I hear many times people saying, oh, I don't want to experience these negative emotions. And what I want to tell to everyone is that there is no negative or positive emotion. All emotions have a constructive and a destructive aspect. And it's important to bear that in mind. They all have their role in our lives. So please do not run away from any emotion.
Yes, I think it reminds me also of the book, The Power of the Now by Eckhart Tolle. He also said, like, don't label emotions exactly what you said, Carmen. There is no good or bad. They are just emotions and they're not you. They're your emotions. Well, a lesson I'm trying to learn. So, I think another thing is speaking about this topic, it's, of course, it's for me personally, it's on the understanding level. I understand what is emotional balance. I understand what is mindfulness, I hope. But then the whole other job is to actually practice it and be that person. So yeah, it's just to say to everyone, I mean, I think we're all on the journey. Some of us are fathers, some of us are more at the beginning, but me personally, I'm not there yet in any way, but working on it. And I think I can feel on my own skin what are the benefits. I feel them. I know when I manage to be in peace, be calm. So that's my way, my word, I think, for mindfulness, for for emotional balance, is just this harmony. I think it's my word, the peace I feel. Everything around me somehow suddenly doesn't annoy me. I have no conflicts. No one is driving on the road and going in front of me. Like, it's somehow the world becomes at peace, becomes harmonious as well. So I think this is part of the benefits, is really when we are calm, everything around us somehow goes into its natural places as well. And besides that, as you mentioned, of course, better health, better mood, better relationships. And I think all in all, it's just emotional balance benefit us because it gives us a better quality of life that we deserve, and also I think it helps us see things for what they are instead of over or under reacting depending on the situation. So I think it's just really living the life that we are blessed with, rather than living the life that our thoughts are creating, which actually never exists, or never existed. So I think it's just simple as that. And Dimi, you can also take over the word now. I'm starting the 2 minutes, and yeah,
Perfect.
bring it on.
I was really trying to listen to very mindfully both of you and being with you in this conversation. And how your mind's trying to think, what should I say now? What should I say more? And something like this. And I was like, I just want to listen to that, because what I am gonna say is gonna come to me in the right moment when I want to share something with you guys. So what is coming up for me right now is the relationship part. We share that it's we create stronger relationship actually with people when we are in emotional balance, and when we really like Carmen said, we respect our emotions. We respect them and we don't run away from them. We just are with them. We give them the chance to run their natural work of the emotions. They are coming, they want to share something with us. We are taking the message and then we let them go. And in this way, we're not running from these hard emotions when some of our friends, our intimate partner, our business partner has something hard, we don't want to get out of it. We just stay with that. We are compassionate with them. And then we create this stronger connection with people, which we know that everything is relationship. And when we have these relationships, we can create these stronger, deeper relationships. Everything gets better, actually. And it doesn't matter where we are, in intimate relationship or in business. And that's one of the biggest benefits of emotional balance. Together with the decision making, we know so many researches has been done that actually we make our decisions from our emotions. And if we know how to balance the emotions, we're going to make way more objective decisions in whatever we do in life. And there's one more point I have, it's feeling fulfilled. We learn, I mean, the fulfillment is, in my opinion, my every one of us wants to feel fulfilled and happy and content with our life. And learning how to be really connected and balanced with our emotions can help us really go in this deep fulfillment of life, not trying to run, but trying to play, trying to be connected with everything. So yeah, that's I think what I wanted to share. And do you have something else you want to add on that, girls?
Well, there is plenty. I'm trying to be mindful of the time because there is plenty to add. But yes, what you both said, it's so true. And the invitation is also to remember that each of us has its own way, and
Mm,
not to be afraid of actually listening to ourselves and to do it in our own way.
mm,
Yeah.
absolutely,
For me,
absolutely.
I have a lot of questions actually. So like one of my big questions when I'm listening, and even I'm listening to you and I'm listening to myself, and I think if I'm so smart, like if I know all these things, why on earth I'm struggling so much to put it in practice in the real life? So maybe Carmen, you can just, I don't know, share your thoughts, because it's a real struggle. It's a real, I think mentally I'm very mature personally, understand things, but then when it comes to emotions, 6 years old girl, and everything I know, it is just, I don't know, it goes on vacation, I think, when I need it the most, you know? So how does it work?
Well, we can blame the amygdala if we need, if we need to blame someone. It's the
Yeah.
amygdala. It's normal. And what Pema Chodron, she's a wonderful, wonderful Buddhist nun, and she says we need to get comfortable with uncomfortable,
Mm,
because as human beings we are always going to have struggles, we are always going to suffer. Oh, and I have to give you this beautiful example of somebody else, Mathieu Ricard. Maybe you heard about him, the happiest man in the world. He's also a Buddhist monk, and he was saying a story in one of his books of when the laptops came out, and he was typing on his laptop, and after he had many years of practice, right? And then another monk comes, and they are very playful, and comes with a hand of flour and throws towards Mathieu and on the laptop. And Mathieu jumps all over, oh my God, you're destroying my laptop, and so on. And the other monk was like, oh, so many years of practice, and all it takes is a hand of flour. Right? So we can have so many years of practice, and there is one small thing that triggers us, and we still might react. So the idea is, again, as we were talking in the beginning, is that we are not going to be perfect, and emotions are still kicking in, and it's very difficult, and it's going to be a lifetime journey. But it's when we recognize that, what am I
mm.
going to do? It's like, oh, why I did it again? Why again emotional? Or it's like, oh, that's painful again. It really hurts. What do I need right now to be able to go through this? All right. So it's I'm sorry to disappoint everyone. You will never be fully happy and have no problems, and the world is just going to be pink and milk and honey. There will be problems. You'll have strong emotions. You'll suffer, but you also can find a way to navigate it smoother. So that's the idea. I'm sorry for disappointing.
No,
But that's the reality.
actually, isn't that like what makes life life? what makes life interesting, that we have all these, you could say, struggles, or I would say challenges. Just I feel more connected to the word challenges, because if you see something as a challenge, at least me, if I see something as a challenge, for me is okay. So I want to learn how to overcome this challenge, or how to grow out of this challenge, how to see this challenge as an opportunity for growth, and all of this, because we are going to have it. I mean, I was thinking several days ago, would I be happy if everything is perfect? Would I be happy if everything is just flat and nothing happens? No, I wouldn't. I'm not sure that, I'm sure all other people wouldn't, because we are here to grow, and we are here to learn. We are here to go to the next level, and that will be the, throughout the whole life. And some of us has troubles with one, or challenges with something, so something other have challenges with something else. And this is something very important. And I'm going to share one thing, one turnaround which I had before I asked the last question. We go into the last subtopic, was that I was thinking about the relationship between men and women. This is not exactly on the topic, but I'm just going to share it. And how I was seeing it before and how I see it now. With this turnaround helped me so much to connect with the idea of that, because we know the feminine masculine energy, they work in different ways, they have different purpose. And I was just listening this book, and the guy who was reading, the author of the book, he was just sharing that the purpose of man in life is to really learn how to hold the feminine energy, and learn how to really be with the feminine energy, so that he also can hold life in this way, because feminine energy and life, they are very connected, because of everything is in life is something which appears as a chaos, but it's not. And but if you learn how to hold, and I'm talking about not women but feminine energy, then you become stronger, and you become more confident to actually take out and unleash your potential in the world. So when I saw it like this, now something which I was seeing as a big challenge or something hardship, now I see it as something very important for me, something I really want to learn. You cannot imagine how much passion I have now to learn that. How can I hold that? How can I be there for my woman, so that I can hold this energy, help her grow and help myself grow? So this is the way I see it now, and now I'm excited about it now. And it's something, it's not just turn around which I wanted to share, because this is, I think that's also because I'm running now a men's group, and this is a great topic also for the groups I'm creating now and running. But also I think it's for women, because the more men understand that, and the more men are going to be there to be excited about the challenge. And yeah, this was something I want to share before we go to the last subtopic today. I'm sure that you have also some ideas around that, but if you want to share something, just share it. Otherwise, we can go and to the last point for today.
Let's be mindful and keep to the topic, and go to the last point. We can have a different conversation for the topic you just you just brought up.
Yeah, perfect. So let's go to the last one. How can we actually, if someone wants to start today practicing mindfulness and emotional balance, what they should do, how they can start actually practicing that, Carmen?
Well, it's quite easy and complicated in the same time, as Laura was saying. Of course, we can do certain things, and of course, when it's more challenging, we need to be even more intentional. One thing would be, right, just when waking up, just noticing the breath. And there's nothing mystical about the breath. It's just something that it's always available. We breathe whole life, but we don't realize that. Of course, if we can't breathe anymore, we become suddenly aware of the breath. But before that, we don't. So just sometimes just connecting to the breath. Or when you start a task, or for example, in all the sessions that I do with my clients, we start our sessions with a few minutes of settling in and connecting to what's present in your body, what's present in your mind, what's present at the level of emotions. Connect to the breath and then set an intention for the time. So many leaders do this when they start a meeting, when they start an important task, when they have an important conversation. So that can be very simple and it's not even visible for the others. Can be while walking towards the next meeting, just noticing your body walking. It can be when we are here, right? Just really, really listening, finding ourselves distracted, coming back, finding ourselves distracted, coming back. Could be when you take a shower. I always laugh how many people are reviewing the shower in the morning, because usually we go for the whole day or the next meeting or whatever happens and we never enjoy the shower. So really just noticing the hot water, the soap, the smell. It can be a simple way of practicing mindfulness. It can be, right, we all have a cup of tea or a coffee, just taking in our hands, feeling the warmth, just looking, see what's the color, and just taking a sip and really, is it still warm? Is it getting colder? What's the taste? What's the flavor? Could be when writing an email, really paying attention to that email. And again, when we are distracted, coming back. And in more difficult situations, right, when we are getting hijacked, when we are really emotional, when we are in real pain, here I think that self-compassion has a very good ad here, because it's, oh, I recognize, right, I have the mindfulness part of self-compassion. I recognize what's happening and I don't make it bigger or smaller, as Laura was saying. Then I acknowledge how I feel. Oh, it's tough for me right now. It's very, very difficult. And then it is also the common humanity. We all go through challenges. And when we come back to kindness, it's like, what do I need right now to go through this? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to talk with a friend? Do I need to talk with my boss? Do I need to be alone? So what do I need? I think the basic thing for mindfulness and emotional balance and self-compassion, as well as what is present for me right now and what do I really need in this moment. So if I were to leave you with two questions, I think this would be.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
So definitely that was really mindful what you shared with us, because actually what we can understand from that is that mindfulness is not like sitting and meditating or closing your eyes and stay there 1 hour. You can use mindfulness everywhere in your life. You can be mindful in every moment in your life if you choose to. It's not something. It's not like some people say, like, it's not the rocket science. It's just being mindful, practicing. The practice is important, right? To practice every moment you feel like, because you can. And the first thing which is coming in mind is, I love the idea of mini habits or atomic habits, and that, for example, even if you don't remember to do it in your daily activities, you can just start with 1 minute. You can start 1 minute in the morning, just stay with your breath, or just listening to the sounds around you and just focus on them and just be with them. And I think John Kabat-Zinn, exactly the founder in the Western world, the founder of mindfulness. I forgot the name of his book, but in his book, he was sharing exactly this idea. They asked him, how long should I, practice mindfulness every day? And he said, actually, it's not about the time you're practicing. It's about every day. You can do it for 1 minute. But if you are fully mindful 1 minute every single day, then you're gonna see what difference that can make in your life. And actually, what is my message in this sense is, just start practicing mindfulness 1 minute a day. That's it. Do it 66 days. Science says 66 days you can create some habit. just put some number there. Even though I like this idea. If I want to create something, if I want to do something, I'm just gonna do it for 100 days. And if it doesn't work, I just stop doing it. But just do it for these days, and that will not expecting results, but just being in the process of doing it every single day. And the other thing, it's one of my clients' life changed when he realized that he can do mindfulness throughout when he was walking. And every day when he was going to the under to his job, he was just walking like I think 5 minutes or something like this. He said, "I don't have other time." I said, "Just do it there," and he was doing it, and he actually totally changed the way he started his day just by this practice, which you also mentioned, Carmen. So yeah, that this is my message, and I just want to really looking forward to hear what Laura wants to say about the topic.
Actually, I was so in the flow that I don't even know if I showed you the hand. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I didn't, right?
I
For the
was
timing.
yeah, no,
No.
but
Exactly.
it's all
Like I
right.
was at some point I said, wait a second, like it's incredible. I think it also, well, I should sometimes, I'm not a good timer apparently, but I think it also shows something, right? What can someone do? Then again, it's, I think, finding a balance, because you see, when you're really in the present moment, so that was one of my points, always like, yeah, be conscious of being in the present moment. But then again, the timer just showed me, like in the real life, I mean, in the daily life, not always is possible to lose control, to be in the flow. If you have responsibility to keep track of time, for example, that's what just happened, so it's just, okay, let's be humans, let's be practical. It's not about, always being mindful, and everything you do is about making mindfulness a part of your life, whenever it feels natural. So for me, I think number one is really slow down. So I don't know if it's applicable for everyone, but at least for people who are very energetic and very, wavy, like in my case, I think slowing down solves a lot of challenges for me. So slowing down, focusing your attention on the current situation, like you said, Carmen, okay, this is what's happening, not more, not less. What do I need right now? Not what do I always need for this, what I needed yesterday. No, right now, what am I feeling? And I think it's also, once we're feeling a bit out of balance, or the waves are, not in balance, I think it's about acknowledging that as soon as we can, we need to take a few minutes, a moment that we need for embracing this emotion, understanding what is happening, cleaning it, if that's the word you want to use, but taking care of the emotion and then continuing with the day. Because what I notice often is that if we just think it will go away, sometimes at the end of the day, you realize that you have emotional stone when you're going to bed and you don't even remember why, but then it was actually because something happened in the day and you just didn't take care of it, of the emotional effect of that event, even if it's a small thing. I just think it's super, super important. And again, it's human to forget it, but one more advice would be exactly like to feel when we need time to embrace our emotion, take the time, and yeah, and be comfortable with that, because I think it will really benefit us in the end of the day, because if we don't take care of the emotion, probably it will eat us from inside sooner or later. So that's my ending point. And do you guys have anything to add? Or
I'll just want to add a small distinction here, that being in the flow is not the same with being mindful, because
okay.
when we are in the flow, it's kind of being in the bubble and not being fully aware of what's happening. So being mindful, it's actually being focused, but being aware also of what is happening
Mm.
around us. Because you might be in the flow in front of the computer or something, and the house gets on fire and we are just in the flow, but that doesn't mean being mindful, because we don't feel the smell, we don't hear anything else. And so it's really, it is a longer conversation here, but just to notice that being mindful means being present with whatever is here, and having is, like a camera, when it's focusing on something and the rest is a little bit blurred, but the rest is also in the picture. The same with being mindful, being focused on what you choose when where you go, but having the rest in the picture as well, and being aware that there is something going on in the background, to be sure that you take care or attend to something else that might require your attention.
That's actually super good, because yeah, it's good to correct that, because now I think I start seeing the distinction as well, you know, between being in the flow, because you're right. Like, I think in my interpretation, I would say it's a synonym, you know. But now, okay, now I understand. Actually, that is why, like, me being in the flow is actually not being mindful of the timing, for example. You see? So yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that's a great way to finish today. Thank you, Carmen, for your precious time and your mindful attention in this mind shift video series. And yeah, my message is just, guys, let's be a little bit more mindful from today, because we see how many benefits and how much we can be of more value to ourselves, the world, or other people by embracing mindfulness in our life.
Beautiful. And me too, I would like to say big thanks to you, Carmen, because I think for many reasons, and one of the main ones is just for reminding us we're all human beings, reminding us life will never be perfect. Funny enough, but it's actually what life is about, you know, observing the waves, taking care of them in our own personal, mindful way. And I think it's a very healthy reminder that it's about, you know, it's about the journey, not the result. A bit of a cliche, but that's true. And I think it also frames very well our discussion. So big thanks for also bringing some grounding. And it's been really a pleasure today.
Thank you, Dini. Thank you, Laura, and thank you for everyone for listening. And yeah, enjoy the journey. Take the best out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.